everybody. Welcome back to episode 2 of Snapshot. This is the Monday edition, so that means we have a special guest, as you can see there. That's Thom Bishop. Thom, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
And Thom, today we're going to dive into some topics about Season 7, particularly about some of the players. But before we get started, since it's the people's first time meeting you, let me give them an idea of who you are. So we start out, Thom is actually an original friend of mine. We played knee hockey together back on the wooden floors, and he was part of the original 4 and then part of the Season 1 squad, where after that, Thom became a coach for Season 3 of the CT Wolfpack for Seasons 3 and 4. Is that correct?
Yep, that is right.
Coached the famed Vinny Cleary, who did not play any defense. Not a lick of defense. Anyway, Thom was a goalie in high school, so we played goalie in the GKHA. But Season 5, being partnered with the big man, my partner, Colin. Colin, say hi.
BGU!
It's a Bobcat reunion right now.
Bobcat reunion. Season 1 reunion also.
True.
Back
You
when
will forget.
Colin was still a lean 130. Back when Colin was a lean 230.
I don't think I've weighed 100 and something since the 5th grade.
They were partners, and Thom actually won the scoring title and the title. Season 5, his first ever title, touting
Yeah.
that 1-0 record.
Yep.
And then Season 6 goes by, he goes on to the famed Chippewas.
Roll
That bad year, but now Thom is in Season 7 in the finals. Won the goalie title this year after returning back to his position. The only player ever, mind you, to ever win the scoring and the goalie title. Which, I mean, that's impressive, man. That might be a record that's not going to be touched for a while.
Bit of GKHA history right there.
I'm hot
And- Also, one of the most modest players we have in the
Yeah.
entire association.
Thom is looking sexy as hell right now.
Last thing I got to get in is that Thom actually holds the record for the most ceiling goals ever
shit.
allowed.
One.
It's definitely 2. I'm telling you, there was another
When
one
did you-
that happened in the basement.
This is not for right now, but we're going to talk about that.
All right.
I definitely.
Anyway, we got Thom here. Thom knows the league inside and out as well as anybody. So, Thom, you're in the finals. You have possibly one of the most interesting stories, being that the Chippewas are a team that people really shouldn't like. You play with my brother, who's an asshole.
Yeah, we're the bad boys of the league. But I think, everyone's kind of attracted to bad boys. And we have a great name, really. I really think Chippewas, that's a name people love saying.
No, Roll
So they'll
Damn
just-
Waz has caught on.
And
No.
Old Chips In. Don't forget Old Chips In.
How could you forget? Now, Colin brought up an interesting point when we were talking before, that actually, even though your team is the bad boys, people really don't like this Mike and Andy team.
Yeah, I would not gonna slander, throw some mud, but I think Mikey and I
Come on,
play
you
a little.
love throwing shit.
Yeah, I do. But I like to think that the Revolution is a little bit of a hardo kind of. They like to play gritty, which I don't mind, but we definitely play a little bit looser. We play for the millennials. We're a millennial team. I
Listen,
can say that.
I appreciate the effort. I hate those fuckers since I lost to them in the semifinals. So
What was it? Sal scored with 0.4 seconds.
Sal
left?
scored with 0.2 seconds left because
Game
Mike
3.
dropped it being cocky because I yelled at him. I was like, "Oh, you bitch" or something, and he
That's
drops the fucking
one-time
Sal.
trash talking. That's the one time trash talking works.
I will plug the Instagram. The footage of that goal happening is on our Instagram, GKHA official, run by our good friend
That's
Devin.
a great video.
It's a great hype video. It'll definitely get you excited for the playoffs if you're going to be with us for Thanksgiving break when Thom comes back from Syracuse.
We're
So-
definitely excited for the
That's right.
finals. Definitely excited.
Let me tell you, I haven't been excited for a finals like this. I think since I was in one, probably
Yeah,
last season. But as someone who's now a fan watching this, I can't remember a clash of different styles, a clash of different personalities. Not to mention the dynamics. I mean, you have Mike, who's in his 4th straight finals appearance, and who's won 2 of them. You have Andy, who's in the finals. You have you, who's trying to protect your perfect record, and then you have Mikey in his 2nd finals. But his first one wasn't back in season 1.
Yeah. It
So I
feels
think-
like
yeah.
Mikey's never been to a finals, honestly.
I mean,
And
Mikey
he
was
really-
just, yeah.
Yeah, he really doesn't go deep in the playoffs usually. But there's something in his water, or his milk, I guess. Must be all the soccer.
Something in those Wheaties.
Yeah, he's been eating his Wheaties.
It's the Pop-Tarts. It's the
yeah,
Pop-Tarts.
yeah. It's the Pop-Tarts I always see him eating right before we play the Revolution regular season.
Now, I
It's
have to say the
good.
interesting thing about Mikey which well actually is going to lead into our first topic. Our first topic I want to talk about is who's your most surprising player? Who impressed you the most this year? And on the topic of my brother Mikey, he 3 years ago when this league started was 13 years old, and he was playing with a bunch of 15, 16-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
And Mikey's now 16, and I remember I'm playing against him in our opening game, and I remember
He's like
physical against him.
He's like 6 foot.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
6'1",
he's tall
big
now.
boy now.
150 pounds. Like he was a man. Like he was a tough player.
He's
to
a
move.
man among
He was
other
hard
men.
to play against. Like he felt like he was part of the league, and I think like especially being with you, his presence, Mikey blossomed probably his best constant year, touting. I mean, counting the playoffs, you guys have a 6-1 record, but I mean 4-0 regular season. You're in a league company between me and Fowler last season. You have, and then Andy, Mike, and Austin in season 4 when they rolled the whole table for the first ever undefeated season. One of the arguably the best teams ever, which is a topic for a different day. But I mean, that Bammer CP team in season 4 was a phenomenal team.
I'll say this
Great
about
team.
Mikey is that he's always been on the verge, but he's never had the goalie, in my opinion. You look at when he was supposed to come back like really strong, and he had Darren. Didn't go too well for what were they? The Chubbies.
Yeah, I think that was their name.
God, I hated that name. But who also had Eggy out, Eric?
It's all right. It's fine. We'll bleep it out.
Oh, okay, yeah. He also had that at one point. I think that was Dallas. But that team
Dallas.
in Dallas, didn't they go 3-0?
That Dallas team, if you remember, the first season, coached by Devin again, they went. I don't remember actually their exact record.
They had a
They
good
were the
start.
2 seed.
They finished second.
They were the 2 seed, and they got knocked out actually by the 3 seed, which was us. We beat them because
Nice
Mikey
little plug
quit.
in there. Yeah.
No, Mikey
That was
quit,
what that
and-
was my point I was gonna make. Is it seems like this season he's not falling apart. Usually towards the end of a game he kind of counts himself out. He gives up a little bit, and I think this season he's finding that power to come back.
I
He's
think
fighting
and this
along.
is going to be one of the funniest things. We love just yelling like Chippewa shit like after wins. Like we love it. And like I think we like doing that more than the actual process of winning.
You guys play with a lot of emotion. Colin's definitely driving on something. Like Mikey is someone who is known as a head case, if you will.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
finish games. And Colin brings up this great point when he says that Mikey is, playing with this new sense of kind of passion, but it's very teammate driven. You
Yeah.
are
Yeah, I
really
think
the
so.
person who's drawn this out of Mikey.
Yeah. I would say I don't think I want to bring this up, but remember Monkeys? That was definitely a sign
Definitely a bonding moment way back in our history.
when I was a monkey.
And I might be wrong here in saying this, but I feel like even the yelling and screaming of the roll them was and whatnot during games, I feel like that kind of takes the pressure off a little bit, and you kind of
We feel loose.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
feel loose
You
Yeah.
definitely get the
when we do
crowd on
Chippewa
your
shit.
side too. You
Right.
definitely get that crowd aspect.
No one's gonna look at us and go, "Hey, I hate saying roll damn was,"
yeah.
No, you're right. It's caught on. It's
Or
literally
off-
caught the league by storm.
or "Ah piss." I love "Ah piss."
So now we've talked about Mikey and Chippewas, so let's break this down. Tommy, I'll give you first dibs, man. Do you count Mikey as your most surprising player of this season?
Yeah, definitely. I think when you look at every team this year, you kind of thought you knew what you were gonna get out of them, but then you looked at our team and you go, "Okay, this could be a good team," but going off of last year where it was kind of a circus and it wasn't put together, the team wasn't that good. It was surprising to say the least because you definitely don't always get that elite performance out of Mikey anymore. Or you haven't gotten it before, and now you're starting to get that play, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere. So yeah, he would definitely be my biggest surprise.
And now, just a quick plug-in. I don't know. I was just rechecking my stats. Mikey Papa through the 4-game season, 9 goals, good for finishing third. But I think it's interesting that more so not the goals he scored, not the number of goals he scored. He finished third in the race behind Andy and myself. But
think
when
about the
you look back-
quality.
that's what I was gonna say. Mikey had a very good quality. I noticed a lot of the goals I remember him scoring were,
Do you remember-
to paraphrase Sniper. I mean, Mikey
Was it
displayed
this
attributes.
too where he got like passed him the ball. He was on the wall, and he just pulls it between someone's feet. He just pulls it to his backhand right after that, and then roofs it.
I believe that was actually against Collins' team. Collins,
I think so. I think that was against me.
Well, that time, I don't know if that
he
was.
He had a wraparound against Collins that was very.
Yeah,
legit.
he did. He had a great.
He came around the side and put it just right in that kind of hole.
No, it was a
Did he have the one where he shot it on Colin from the other side and it hit like the exact spot you needed to hit?
Something, yeah. I mean,
something ridiculous like that. He hit. I don't know what he's done that has changed it. But
he's always had. I will say this, and I will disagree with you a little later, but Mikey has always had a shooter in him, but he's never been one to be put in there. I mean, he was a goalie. You got to remember to start his career.
Oh yeah,
a good goalie, and then he changed to a forward, and I think being paired, and let me blow a little smoke up your ass, Bishop. I mean, being paired with someone who is I hesitate to say famed, but I will say established goalie. I mean, you did win the goalie title this year. You led 6 goals through 4 games. Absolutely unprecedented. One of the lowest rates in GKHA history. 0.55 goals per period. But let me just say that I do agree with you. Mikey is definitely a solid candidate. And now, but let's bounce over Colin. Do you agree with Tommy, or do you have your own pick?
Absolutely agree. I think Mikey all around has grown as a great player. I mean, he shot up in size. He shot up in ability. That sniper
shot up in him.
Sorry. Maybe.
Kidding.
G Fuel. So I think altogether he's just kind of grown into a great athlete, and I think all of those combined with the fact that this year he doesn't seem to be as much of a head case as Chris put it. He's finishing out games. He's playing strong. I think all of those things together, I definitely wouldn't have been putting him at one of the top players before the season started.
Now I'm actually going to present a little concurrent point here, and we don't have to talk about this at long, but my actual vote is Colin's teammate, Eric Oleska.
I was just thinking about Eric.
And Eric played great. I would put Mikey above Eric, but
now, hold on.
I didn't really want to be biased in talking about him, so. Let
me say my piece, and here's my point. Is that Mikey started from a higher level. He's played every season. He's had experience at forward. He's a 7-season veteran, to kind of reiterate that last point. Like, Mikey's had the experience, and we knew he kind of had this potential. Eric was a total wild factor. We thought Eric could come in and be a dud. We thought Eric could come in and be average.
I was not expecting to make the playoffs this season.
I don't think we expected Eric to be this good.
No.
He didn't put up brilliant numbers. But when he needed to, he played with his back against the wall. He put you guys in the playoffs, and he took against your team, Tom. He took you guys to 3 series.
Yeah, he scored big time goals. That's, you don't look at him and go, this guy's gonna snipe you.
Yeah.
But there are times in games he gets his moments.
He doesn't quit.
He does come up in big times.
I remember second game. I remember Eric put up that hat trick, and it had to be one of the most electrifying things I've ever seen. I mean, it came from somebody who you don't expect to do that. You expect that Eric Collin team to be a 2-1 team or a 3-2 team at the best. But you don't expect, when Colin's on, I mean, you're great, Colin. I'm going to, give you props for props to do.
Not a big deal.
But, I mean, Eric, I think, had a lower starting point, and yet his potential isn't as high as Mikey's. But I think the overall growth Eric covered was of a greater span. So for me, I wasn't as surprised that Mikey did well. I was more surprised by Eric's ability to perform.
The thing with Mikey, it was like, well, he must be due. They always say he's due. He was due for a good year. Eric, when Eric, throwback. Eric signed with the Wolfpack. I signed him.
He's 4.
Straight out of Sweden. Yeah.
Straight out of goddamn Sweden.
Yeah. And I don't even remember did he?
He was a goalie, I think.
Yes, he did start as a goalie.
I got him into a game. Honestly.
He was one of those players of that messed up season, kind of where he got in, but he played like 2 games and he filled in a playoff game. It was
right.
Yeah. He played goalie for me in the season 4 playoffs.
Right, and that's another thing. He played goalie. He didn't play forward.
Yeah, I mean, he was really almost brand new at forward when we brought him in this year.
Yeah, and it was it's been a couple seasons since he's played even, so.
Yeah,
he did have a great season.
Signed him in season, I want to say 4.
I think it
Three?
was. I think it was 3.
No, three. I had.
Nope,
Eggy
it
and
had to be
Vinny.
4 because the basement.
Yeah, and three was Eggy and Vinny. All right, enough Wolfpack history. What are we? That seems. Oh.
So it looks like I'm outnumbered here. Colin and Tommy, you guys still stick with Mikey?
Yeah, I'll stick with Mikey, but I agree with your points on Eric.
I
Definitely.
I also agree with your points on Eric. I didn't really want to be biased and jump in, so I'm
But the
definitely
level that Mikey's on right now is definitely.
I'm definitely
I will
I'm definitely
concede that.
riding the Mikey bandwagon right now.
I'll concede that. But all right,
Like,
I'm outnumbered 2-1. That's fine. Let's move on. Kind of the reversal of this, and this season I've said, Mike said, you've said, and Mike, little context, another person we're gonna have on the show probably next week, one of the all-time great goalies. But we were all talking about this season has to be the most competitive we've ever had. We've never had a playoffs that has been this electrifying, that has gone to 2 best-of-3 series to get to the finals. Never happened before. And not to mention, we had a great group of guys this year.
We also had a playoff game to get into the finals.
Yep.
yeah,
Bishop,
yeah.
you looking down? You have
I
any
was
pants
looking-
on?
Yeah, I had my pants on. I was just playing.
But
with
to-
myself.
To my point is, I'm saying we've talked about the surprise. Let's talk about the disappointment. Who do we feel really disappointed us this season? Just had a lackluster year.
The first
the
name that
pipes
comes
on
to
the ice.
mind, the first name that comes to mind to me is Austin.
100%. I have
Yeah.
Colin, you brought it up. You
I
go
don't
first.
I don't think I don't think that I think Austin's always made it to the playoffs, right? How many seasons has he played?
Austin's played seasons 3, seasons 4, sat out 5 and 6, came back 7. This was his third
Okay.
season.
1-4 record this year.
Yeah,
Not good at all.
not a great record, and I think that shows that Austin needs a good teammate behind him. Not to give anything against Ricky, but I think he needs that forward to.
He needs more than spray painted T-shirts to
Yes.
get deep.
Yes.
Possibly the ugliest T-shirt to the league this year.
Yeah, that
probably,
was
yes.
probably the ugliest thing I've seen.
But let me make a point on Colin. I just checked my stats again. Austin had 6 goals from forward, 1 goal from goalie, 7 goals total through 4 games this year. Nothing crazy to write home about. But the thing that struck me was Austin played a variety of forward and goalie, accustomed to playing forward. But I guess what really shocked me was that even with a bad goalie, the expansion of the Nets, Austin's natural
Yeah.
scoring ability, you remember season 4, he had 16
Oh,
goals in 4
right.
playoff games.
Yeah, I remember that.
Absolutely unreal numbers. But when you look back, he should have been able to score more. He should have been right up there in the top 3, and he just wasn't this year.
Yeah.
Granted, he did take some time to play at goalie, but that was because his performance at forward was underwhelming.
I think that, like you said, I think that switching position and that uncertainty of where he's going to play, I think that definitely contributed to his lack of success this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll actually, for him not picking position, I actually think that makes playing against it a little bit harder. Not saying like he's wildly versatile, but when you know how it is when you go into a game, you
know your
kinda
goalie style.
you know who the forwards are. You know Ricky, if he's playing forward, he's going to give you the business a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, he's gonna put it down.
Yeah. So, going into, when you finish getting loose and you see like ball drop and you see like Austin net or Austin at forward, like it's kind of annoying because then you prepare the whole game.
For
Like,
Ricky.
oh, yeah.
I feel like
exactly.
as a forward, because I've never been in this position before, but I feel like going up against Austin as a forward and not knowing, I feel like that's a little bit intimidating just because of the fact that he's such a large guy.
It is, yeah. It
Well,
definitely
you know what? You say large. Austin is physically large, but when you talk about his career,
He's fairly tame for.
I'm talking
something
physically
like that.
though. I'm
I
talking
didn't
like
mean physically. I'm talking mentally. You're looking at someone who's
That-
won the
that
title
adds it too,
twice.
yeah.
You're looking at someone who is one of the most prolific goal scorers, and you're also looking at someone who's just is a winner. Austin lost 1 game through 2 seasons of knee hockey, which is just.
right.
You
But
don't.
I'll say he's definitely. I think he's definitely in this new style of league. I think he's definitely not as.
He's definitely not an outcast. He's not someone who
No.
has to readjust. I
But
think you're right.
he
He's
went
new
from
team.
losing only 2 games to winning 1 in a whole season.
Now, but here's my question. So I think we universally agree Austin's biggest disappointment of this year. We universally
Yeah,
agree that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sorry about that small tech issue, but we were just finishing talking about Austin and the disappointment on the season. Tom, I know you have some concluding remarks about that.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm not going to spoil it because I know you want to do that for a later time, but for next season, I think he should definitely look to getting, someone a little bit more skilled, whether that be, goalie or forward. You don't need someone physical when you already got Austin, who's, 6 foot, takes up a lot of space on that court. If he can get a guy that can kind of do something with the ball, then I think you have a really good team.
It's an interesting perspective with Austin, just because you look at his stats, when he does have a good teammate, even someone mildly good, like, I want to say Ricky, but Ricky kind of goes against what you're saying, because Ricky is a physical player. But
And he doesn't have the skill in a new kind of league where you see teams that
exactly. The Ricky fit the old league much better. I think Austin needs somebody, maybe like a Vinny, maybe. I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but someone along those lines who can really provide for him.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
I also think that if he's going to succeed, he should change those jerseys up a little bit. The spray paint. The spray paint.
Yeah. I think biggest disappointment shirt-wise too was
biggest disappointment on.
Get your act together, Austin.
Yeah, I know.
It
was a bad season, bud. You got to bounce back.
Scrap this one. All right. Moving on from the best and worst from season 7, player-wise at least. Tom, you're the guest for this week, so you get to come up with a question. I know you already have one prepared. We talked about it a little beforehand. What's the question you want to propose to me and Colin?
I was just talking about, what's your preferred post GKHA meal? Because, you have a long day of knocky, a lot of sweat.
Mm-hmm.
You got to refuel the body.
A lot of electrolytes are getting lost.
Yeah, got to get electrolytes.
I like a nice healthy Wendy's.
Oh, look at that! That's not a surprise at all.
I actually just have a funny story. I remember, I think it was the first time I won the finals, and
you've only won it once.
So the first and last time I won the finals, and I think I had I'm not saying I got a concussion from that. I'm just saying my body had taken a real toll. But
I'm not saying that I had gotten a concussion, but I might have gotten a concussion.
I'm not saying that I personally didn't slam Tommy's head into a wall
when you were losing 5-0.
I'm just saying that game was elevated in testosterone. That's all I'm saying. That's all I want to get out there.
But I just remember, after the finals, I took these 2 cookies and I put ice cream between. I'm like, I'm the champ, and I just snacked on that, and then I laid in. I forget whose bed I went in, but that, yeah. I remember that, and I also remember just Colin
crawled into Kristen's bed,
something like that. I just remember Colin not giving me, just letting me have access to lots of G Fuel that whole day, which was probably
that G Fuel. That's a pre.
I want to put
during
that as a
and post.
No one should have that type of energy.
I would love to hear the stat, Colin. What was the recommended serving size?
Well, you're not supposed to have more than 3 a day, but you're not really supposed to have more than 1.
I think I went through a water bottle of it.
You went through multiple.
Every game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there were times where I used to chug it between periods.
That was a lot of G Fuel.
That's a lot. That's. All right. So wait. Post meal, what you're telling me? Get back on topic. For you, it's the ice cream sandwich.
Because it just brings back memories.
All right. No. Fair enough. Now, do you have a preferred? Do you like to go to McDonald's, get 2 cookies, put a McFlurry in between?
No, because you had cookies at your house. That's why I remember it might have been the store bought. And you definitely had the vanilla ice cream, and I remember just
probably freezer burned because it's my house.
Yeah, it is. Yes. It was definitely freezer burned. It was your house. But I also remember. Do you remember who was it? You were celebrating your birthday at knee hockey. We had KFC.
Oh, and George was there,
that was a bad idea.
That was a bad idea.
George picked it up in Waterbury.
Well, George couldn't eat it because George is allergic to chicken.
Yeah, that was. They messed up. They were like, we don't have your order.
Yeah, I remember they got there and they were like, "Yeah, we don't have your order." And George's like, "Chris, they don't have it." I'm like, "All right, well, just order $100 worth of chicken. Someone will pay for it."
And then on top of that, just the fact that we sent George to pick it up, who can't eat chicken, the whole situation was just bad.
On the topic of food, do you remember? I think we've all done this, where you're about to play a game and you just hear someone go, "Dinner."
Yeah.
And then everyone just flees, and you're about to play a game. I think it might have been that same day with the playoffs.
Probably. It happens a lot, though.
Yeah,
So you're
it
about to-
usually have.
What's
about to
your
play,
that
like,
brings up
game
another
3.
question though.
What'd you say?
Like I was about to play like game 3 or something, and then I just hear dinner, and then this I look up and everyone's gone. I'm like,
That's usually the problem when we used to order pizza and stuff. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
someone had to get it, and when the pizza got there, you didn't want to. You
You're
know,
not
you
waiting.
didn't want to get it last. So
anyone that's saying that they would wait after a game to eat the pizza is lying to
Oh,
themselves.
yeah, totally.
I'm
But
telling you this
that brings
right
up another
now. Oh, go.
question. I'm sorry.
Go.
That
No,
brings
go.
up another question though. What do you like to eat between games?
I don't.
I don't
I
really. I
don't,
mean,
yeah,
that seems like a stupid idea. I mean, if you're playing goalie, I can understand it.
Well, no, I'm
And
just saying like I don't go up and eat in the middle of games or anything, but like when you have a long break and it's been hours.
I don't plan it. You know what I mean? If it happens, I will say I drink G Fuel.
Yeah, I do
I'll
too.
I drink
say-
a lot of G Fuel between games.
G
Well,
Fuel.
sometimes what winds up happening if we're playing late at night is someone will make the McDonald's run or a 7-Eleven run,
I love
and then
that.
they won't finish their food.
Yeah.
And then you
So
see it.
usually you can find like I remember one time we were in a game. It was in between the second and third period, and it was late. I don't remember what season, but someone had bought a McDouble, probably Robidoux, our friend Matt, who was my goalie for 2 seasons. I think he ate about half of it, and he gave the rest to me, and I
That's
ate that.
typical Matt fashion.
Yeah.
Ordering
Yeah.
and just not eating it.
But
I could just see you finding McDouble from like a month ago in the basement. All right, looks like we're eating this.
one of the grossest things ever was I left a thing of
Chinese
Chinese
food,
food
yeah.
down. Yeah,
Oh,
and it literally manifested its own like micro.
was-
I
it made its
remember-
own.
Really gross.
I
Oh my
remember
God,
there
it was bad.
being a cup in your basement that had lemonade in it from all throughout elementary school that just remained
Pretty
in your
sure I
basement.
dipped into that one.
No, you're close. It's when we actually made a fake casino in the basement.
Oh,
before
it
we
was
put
the
everything
fake
out with knee hockey.
casino.
And I had drinks, and what it was is I had milk in a Gatorade squirt bottle
Oh,
that got left down there for 4 months
oh.
and totally hardened. So I went
Yeah.
to squeeze it, and it was like
Yeah,
yogurt out of
yeah,
a
it was
Gatorade bottle.
gross.
I threw the whole bottle away.
Yeah.
This is we are really unsanitary.
Yeah, as you
Oh,
can tell, the GKHA
yeah.
is very healthy and very sanitary.
I'm like walking around spitting dip everywhere.
Oh, it's
Oh,
fucking gross down there, but I love it.
That basement, you
smells
walk
so
in there and automatically the T levels in that basement are just
Yeah,
I fucking-
through the fucking roofs.
It's like having 12 animals just jacking off constantly down there. It's fucking disgusting. It's just sweaty. It's warm as fuck because everyone
Yeah.
is just.
The
Oh,
walls,
it's
at
like
one
a-
point, the walls will start sweating. Like, it's just,
the
It's-
walls
it's
get
bad.
moist.
yeah, that's what I mean. The walls get
the
moist.
sheetrock starts to like condense. You hit into it and you just go through the foundation into the dirt.
It's just like a wet paper.
It's basically like a paper mache basement at this point, held together by a couple of wood beams.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. I got to mosey on out of here, but I would love to hear just quick thoughts, predictions for the finals. Ooh.
Ooh,
Chips in
interesting
3.
question. We are running close to the end of the time, but I mean, before getting into it or anything, I just want to say, I guess, I expect it to go to 3 games. I
I do
don't
too.
expect to be disappointed.
I
That's-
expect a
that's all I
3-game
wanna say.
series.
I expect 3 games, and oddly enough, the little insights, the way I'm thinking, I actually expect low-scoring games. I don't
I expect close games. I don't know if it's going to be high scoring or low scoring.
I expect low-scoring, close games. I expect the highest game that will be played, we'll see, is a 3-2. Like, that will be the highest combination of goals will be a 5-goal game. I don't see there being a 6-3 or a 7-6 or a 8-9 or something ridiculous. I see this as 2 good goalies, 2 good forwards, and one hell of a matchup. That's all I want to say.
All right.
But, Colin, you want to offer anything more to that point, or you
Not picking teams though.
not picking
No,
teams.
no, not yet.
Not
It's
picking
a coin
teams.
toss, really.
It's going to be close. I think it's going to be close no matter what.
No,
I just do.
agree. All right, Tom, thank you so much for being here. You were a great
Yep,
inaugural
thanks for having
guest. Before we go out real quick, remember to like and subscribe. We're a brand new channel. It's only our 2nd episode, but we hope to bring some of our friends who watch this and participate, and then to you guys who have never really been to the GKHA and will only get to view this through our insight and videos that we put up. I'd love to hear back from you. I would love for you to subscribe, leave comments. Any interaction is great. And I want to say that this has been great. Tom, honestly, thank you again.
Thanks for coming on, bud.
No problem. Yep.
Our quick
Pleasure.
plug here, we have an Instagram and a Twitter. Both links are going to be in the description, and they're on the channel.
We also have a Snapchat.
And we have a Snapchat too you can follow, all GKHA official. And I will say right now, the Twitter and Instagram are run by two of my close friends. It's absolutely amazing. Check those out first when you're on here before you watch a video. It's going to bring you a ton of insight and a ton of facts that you might have never not known.
Alrighty, guys, with that being said, thank you for watching episode number 2 of Snapshot with our guest Tommy, and we'll see you next time.